Welcome to Beachwalk and Beyond, the podcast. We're taking you on a stroll through the heart of the 210 corridor in St. John's, Florida. Let's get started. Welcome to Beachwalk and Beyond, the podcast. My name is Fred Amato. I am the host, and I'm here today with Carleen Leffler. How are you today, Carleen?
I'm doing great, Fred. How are you?
All right, I'm doing well. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, sure. Listen, this is just a very casual conversation we're going to have. Get to know each other. Whatever you want to share, that's where we're going to start. So I want to start with, you are a true Floridian.
Yep. Born and raised, fifth generation native Floridian.
And where?
So I was born in Daytona, raised just north of there in Ormond Beach, so Volusia County, same as my mom. However, most of the family's from Seminole County, so Sanford, Florida. But born and raised there, been there for most of my life, and then relocated up here to St. John's a year ago.
1 year ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in Shearwater now, the community.
I am.
Great. So I always ask, where you're from and everything, because I'm a New Yorker, right? I grew up in New York. I moved here in 2018. Fun fact, most people don't realize, though, I did leave New York in 1999. I lived in Parkland Isles. Both of my boys were born in Florida, so they are true Floridians, born.
Okay.
And then we went back to New York in 2003, a little coerced by my in-laws about, crying. They went to grandbabies, and my wife, said, okay. And there was a good profit to be made with the house. And I said, all right, let me do this,
Okay.
And then we stayed there 15 years. And then I had enough. And I couldn't wait to get out. And my older boy wanted to go to UF. And I said, thank you, God. So then I could move, go Gators.
Throwing that out there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And so that was my opportunity to leave, and I don't see myself going back. And now I feel that I am a true Floridian.
Oh.
Well, at least my driver's license says that.
That's important.
Yeah, that is important. So give me a little background. You were an athlete in college. You played volleyball?
I was. I played volleyball in college at a tiny little school called Weber International University. It's in Batson Park, Florida, which is in the middle of Polk County, Florida. So big county, small town. We had one stop sign. So little tiny town. After college, I moved up to Jacksonville to go to law school, went to Florida Coastal School of Law. I did their joint degree program with Jacksonville University and got my master's in business administration while I was there. I actually graduated the same day with both degrees. So I was very proud of myself for that.
That's great. Congrats on that. I mean, that's a great accomplishment.
Thank you. Yes, it was a lot of work, but it was something I always grew up with the saying, idle hands, you get in trouble when you're not busy. Right. And I didn't want that. So I wanted to stay busy.
Well, now you played sports through high school, then into college, and that's a job in itself.
It is.
So I definitely tip my hat to you, because if you did volleyball as a D1 school and then you did all this studying, law school and masters and things of that nature, that is beyond a feat that most people can do.
The school that I went to was NAIA. So D1 NAIA. So it's a little bit different than NCAA, but it was still a lot of work. I graduated in 2.5 years and started law school at the age of 20.
Wow.
Yeah. And in high school, I was actually a tri-sport athlete. I played volleyball, basketball, and softball until I decided to take the show on the road for volleyball and started driving up to Jacksonville to play competitively for volleyball while still playing softball. So I definitely stayed busy. There was no lack of being busy.
Well, I totally understand that. My older boy was a four-sport athlete. He's actually an athletic award winner in Huntington. They haven't had one in 35 years, so they were first won big award on the news. So it was pretty exciting.
Okay, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. And then my younger one, he was 3 sports, but he decided in 8th grade that he was going to play lacrosse for college.
Okay.
And he stuck with it. And my older boy in 10th grade or 11th grade came to me and said, I don't want to play sports in college. And I was just like, say what? I was like, oh my God. But a good friend of mine said, hey, if he's going to make a man decision, then he sticks with the man decision, and you got to respect that. So I did. And then we moved here. He goes to UF, and I told you this prior, but he worked on tryout for the soccer team, made it, and they won the nationals. So got the best of both worlds. It just wasn't the way I thought it was going to be.
Okay.
But I know it's a big job, with sports and schoolwork and everything, but it definitely molds you to be more responsible, because I see this in my boys.
It does. 100%. It instills in you hard work, a good work ethic on top of that. And there's nothing quite like playing sports and having a responsibility of accountability to your teammates while also managing schoolwork and if you work, your workload as well. So accountability to multiple people as well as just the hard work ethic. There's nothing quite like sports to build it.
Yeah. I mean, I saw that with my younger one because he needed that. My biggest concern with him was, go to college, get in trouble.
Mhm.
So the sports keep you out of trouble,
They do.
for the most part. I mean, they do it. I mean, they're on top of you, 6 days a week and get 1 day as opposed to you have 7 days like I did. So
5 a.m. runs and workouts and all of that. For somebody that's never been a morning person, that's always fun.
So we came to Florida and my youngest son he embraced it, loved the heat, everything here in the heat. Ended up with a scholarship to Lehigh University, which is freezing.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they break you in is as soon as when you come back from Christmas break to prepare you, 4 a.m., you're running in the mountains, in the dark, in the freezing cold,
Oh,
and no sweatpants.
oh.
I mean, they stick it to you.
I thought it was bad having to acclimate from Volusia County beach coastal weather to Central Florida heat. But I don't know that I'd survive the acclimating to cold like that.
Oh, he would complain so much. He would be freezing.
Oh,
Oh, you
I
hated
can only imagine.
it, And then it was funny. By the time he graduated, I started getting into cold baths.
Okay.
And then he was doing them all the time there. And I did like a 3.5 minute in ice water. And I thought I was going to die. And he's like, I sit in that for 8 minutes every day, sometimes twice a day. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, you have to. Your body just hurts. And so, you learn a lot and you grow through that. But you're running to be a judge?
I am running for circuit judge.
Circuit judge.
Mm-hmm.
State of Florida.
State of Florida, 7th Circuit. It's all of St. Johns County, Volusia County, Flagler County, and Putnam County. So 4 different counties that I'm running an election in, running a campaign in. And so it's been a lot of work, but it's so far been good. I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed getting out there to meet people. I'm always asked, are you tired of it yet? Are you tired of campaigning? Are you tired of going to all these things? And I'm like, no, this is what I do. This is how I've been getting clients in for most of my career. Since being in private practice, you have to hit the pavement, meet people. That's how you end up getting clients in, word of mouth. And so I've really relied on the same strategies in my campaign as well, of getting out there, just meeting people, introducing myself, getting connections like this.
Right.
Exactly. Had I not gone to the mix and mingle this past Tuesday, I would have not known about this. And so all of that plays a role in the campaign. And so it's just been a lot of fun getting to know people. And I love getting to know people. So it's been a lot of fun. So
That's great. Well, I want to back up a little bit.
Mhm.
So you worked for a law firm and then you had your own law firm. Do I have that correct?
So I worked for a law firm and then I actually went in-house counsel down in South Florida before moving back up to Jacksonville, opening my first law firm with a partner. When I got married, I moved back to Volusia County, back to the Daytona Beach area, and opened my own law firm. I had that law firm until 2020 when I joined a larger law firm that's based out of Orlando, but they have branches in DeLand and Port Orange, Florida, which are both in Volusia County. And so I joined that law firm right before COVID hit, and I've been with that law firm since.
So you have a lot of experience.
I do. I have almost 15 years of experience. I've been licensed since I was 23 years old.
Wow.
I'm 38 now, which is always fun. But it's been interesting. A lot of experience. I handle probate, estate planning, corporate, and real estate law right now. I am one of the only full-time attorneys in my office in Port Orange, so I regularly handle a large caseload. Large caseload of probate cases, large caseload with estate planning. I do have corporate cases that come into there. A lot of them now are geared towards my probate cases and estate planning clients, but a lot of different areas in there.
So I got to ask the question.
Okay.
What made you say, I want to be a judge?
So my great uncle was actually a judge in Sanford. The 18th Circuit, which is all of Seminole County and Brevard. So, and my grandfather was a trial attorney in Volusia County. And growing up watching them, I always knew I wanted to be a lawyer. Never necessarily put 2 and 2 together that I wanted to be a judge. But then as I went to law school, your mind kind of always thinks about that. That would be kind of cool to be a judge. That would be kind of cool. And so I wanted to be a judge, but then at one point I felt I'm not qualified to be a judge. Okay. My area of laws don't tend to be in court all the time. I'm not constantly in trials, all of that. And it wasn't until I was talking to a friend of mine that he's like, you're in court whether you're in trial or not. Probate is always in court. It's circuit court. You have a judge that presides over it. You may not be regularly in trial, but you have that experience. And don't you feel like our judiciary is stronger if we have judges that have backgrounds other than just one area of law that's constantly in trial? And I was like, you're right. You're absolutely right. And so I really, based on that conversation, my mindset went to, okay, you can do this. And there's two different ways to become a judge. You can either be appointed by the governor or you can run for an election if at the time that the election comes up. And so back in March, I can't remember if it was the middle of March, somewhere around there. In March, Judge Rowe decided to announce his retirement. And he announced his retirement so that it was up for election. And I texted my best friend and I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. I'm going to run for judge. And she's like, okay, what do we have to do? She was all in. When I talked to my parents, though, they were a little bit different. They're like, really? Why? Why do you want to do this? You watched your uncle. You knew, you know what's going on here. I'm like, I feel pretty strongly that our judiciary is stronger when we have judges with a diverse legal background. And who am I to sit here and say that if I'm not willing to try to be that? And so I decided, let's go for it.
That's great. So this is recent, and now the election is in August.
August 18th. We have 39 days.
So we got to go and vote for Carleen Leffler to be judge.
Yeah.
On August 18th.
Leffler, circuit judge on August 18th. There's 2 names on the ballot. My name will be the first name on the ballot. But if anybody wants to know more about it, they can always reach out. But August 18th, it is one and done. This is going to be the only election for judge. The only judicial election that's on the ballot. It's the only one, and it's only on August 18th. There will not be an election for judge on the November ballot.
You got to hit the campaign hard.
Oh, yes. And I've been loving it.
Well, I'm really glad that you came to the Cimarrone neighboring gathering, business and neighbor gathering. It's a network marketing gathering. The whole idea behind it is to bring people together.
And I really appreciate you putting those on. I loved going to it. Like I told a couple of people there, since I still work down in Volusia County, I live up here, but I work down there. And so I haven't had a great chance to really get out there and network and meet my neighbors as much as I know down there and could do down there in Volusia County. And so this event was one that I'm like, and the campaign has kind of driven that as well. I'm able to go. I'm able to meet my neighbors up here with a whole different reason, but still have some purpose because, okay, they're not going to necessarily drive to Volusia County for a lawyer, but hey, I'm your neighbor and I'm running for judge here.
Right. Which is great. And I mean, the whole thing behind the Cimarrone gathering, the Stroll magazines, and now Beachwalk and Beyond, the podcast, is really to bring more people together, get more recognition out, more branding out, and to make the connections that you might not be able to make on your own. It sort of gives you that little nudge, right? And so we're using it in a full circle, right? So when Ryan met you, he's my podcast producer. I mean, he's the one that really pushed me here. So if you guys don't like my podcast, blame Ryan. He's a production guy, but he's a good friend of mine. I love him. He's the best. He met you at the Cimarrone, started talking to you. I know we had a conversation, and then he called me the next day and he's like, hey, I think we should put the judge on and we should do it quicker. And that is why we tape them so we can segregate them, based on certain dates, right? We're going to have somebody else on that has something coming up next weekend. We'll probably put them prior to yours. Mm-hmm. And we move things around. We tape them and do it. But the idea is we're getting the word out in an efficient, timely way. And something a little different and fun.
Yeah.
And I never did podcasts. I mean, I watch motivational, videos and things like that, but I never really sat in front of a mic. but I have the gift of gab. So Ryan said, hey, you'll be the host. I said, say what? You know? And then it's just like when I was at Cimarrone, I just go around talking to everybody, you know? And the Stroll magazines is really what changed everything for me, because I've had that for 4 years in Beachwalk, coming on 3 for, well, it is 3 now in Beacon Lake. And, you know, you just meet between the two communities, it's 3,000 residents, you know, basically, and you're just meeting and talking to so many people. We feature a new family on the front cover. So that will be your next step for Shearwater, because I run the Cimarrone gathering with Shearwater and Rivertown.
And that's how I found out about it, was through our Facebook page on the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I was like, that looks like a lot of fun. I want to go to that.
Oh, you got to see what we're going to do for the next one. We're going to change it up a little bit. We're going to make it a little bit more engaging for people and a little bit more informative. We decided that yesterday, and we're going to have a meeting in less than 1 week and put it all together. And we're hoping to make it really like more fun, more engaging. And I want to turn it into the type of gathering where people are excited to invite people to it.
Okay.
Like they say, hey, this is just not your ordinary network meeting, right? You know, it's not like they're not trying to sell us anything, not trying to push anything, right? And that was one thing when we did start, is like, hey, we want to introduce Stroll, but we're not looking to push it on you. We don't sell ads to just anybody, right? I mean, we sell advertising, but the magazine's free to every resident, right? So that's the uniqueness of it. And it's really about making those connections, because word of mouth is everything.
It is.
Right?
100% it is.
And today, everything's digital, you know? And the magazine gives you still that touch and feel, the you know, that physical quality. Even though we put it digitally, we're all over Instagrams and Facebooks and, you know, all those things. And, you know, just like the podcast is all over the place too. But if you're not doing all of those things, then you're not moving with the times.
Right.
Right. So that's really where it comes back to. And so 5 weeks to your campaign. And how do you feel? Like,
I'm feeling good.
You feeling good?
Feeling good. Judicial races are a little bit weird. There's a lot of stuff that we can't talk about. We're governed by the same canons that actual sitting judges are governed by. And so there's a lot of things that are off limits. And so it's hard to always gauge, just because half the people I talk to don't even know that there is a judicial election or that you vote for judges. And so it's been a lot of education on that of, hey, no, there is an election. It's in August. Make sure you vote. It's very important to have a word, have a say in who our next judge is. And so I'm feeling good about it. Like I said, I've really been enjoying the campaign trail, and even win or lose, I'm a winner on this, because I've won a lot of different connections, a lot of different people that I wouldn't otherwise know because of this.
Well, it's all about connections, right? But it's all connections and experience. Right. So I think the experience is the most important part, because you just never know where you're going to end up tomorrow.
Right.
We're not promised tomorrow. We have no idea, you know, if that even comes. We assume it, right? But you don't know. And I've had a lot of things going in my life where an abrupt 180-degree turn. And if you would have asked me in those times, I would have said, I'm going to do this the rest of my life. And then a week later, I'm like, you know, totally different Jackson. Right. And so that's really what by meeting you and hearing about what you're doing, it's totally new to me, because I didn't know you could vote for a judge. I didn't realize it was on a ballot. I had no idea. So for me, this is great education, because I understand, because I really believe the people should have a say, right? I'm all about the people. I was always one of those, you know, I'm about the majority, not the few. Sometimes I butt heads with the clubhouse here, but that's another conversation. You know, we'll throw that in there. But my heart means well, and I think that's what's important, right? Always trying to give back and do, you know.
Giving back is so important.
Yeah.
So important.
It's the greatest selfish thing you can do, because you do for somebody else, and the reward you get for it, that feeling, I call it selfish, because there's no better feeling. You know, you help somebody, you do something for somebody. I have a neighbor, Mark Payne. He's an incredible guy, 10, 11 years older than me, you know, in good shape. This guy will do anything for anybody. I think right now, while we're filming in my house, he's across the street helping a neighbor dig out some thing of dirt that's too high and our plants keep dying, and he noticed it and said, I can help you. I think it's more work than he anticipated, but he would never shy from it. And he does it. And it's just his nature. And then, I see that. And then that makes me a better person because I realize like, wow, that's good. And then that feeds off of, and that's everything I try to incorporate. And I am far from perfect, listen, I wouldn't be Fred Amato if I was perfect, I'd be God, but that's the only perfect one is Jesus. And I got baptized November 8th of 2020.
Okay.
So I didn't have a relationship with God. And a lot of people thought, how, like, this guy came down here as a wretched New Yorker and now, like, he's a God-loving person. Like, let's see how this goes, Greatest thing I ever did in my life. Opened my whole world of thinking because I came to learn that we control nothing.
That's true.
And I thought I controlled everything. I was a control freak, like, oh, I got to be in control. I got to do this. I got to do this, striving all the time. It's a little bit more relaxed. Even when Ryan came to me and said, hey, let's start a podcast, I was like, sure. I didn't know what I was talking about, right?
Yeah.
But if God brings it to me, I'll trust it. I'll try. I think you're going to be good as a judge.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I want to see you win,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I want to see you win. I think it would be exciting because then, down the road, I could say, hey, we had her on the podcast. We were talking about that. I remember,
Remember that.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it's all about, having fun.
It is. So if you're not getting fun, it's not worth living.
Right.
So that is a firm belief of mine.
Well, I want to invite you back to Cimarrone.
Okay.
In August, the first Tuesday.
I would love to come.
And I want to have you do like a 5-minute speech.
Okay.
All right. So that'll push us to our change that we're doing. And that will help, you as well, because that will be right before your campaign. I think, don't hold me to the date, first Tuesday. Is it August 7th, maybe? Or 2nd or 3rd? One of those. I don't know.
One of those dates.
I need to know. But the first Tuesday of the month. And then that will have 3-week push.
Okay.
And your podcast will probably drop same time,
Appreciate
2 to 3 weeks. And it'll be like that. Is there anything you want to add?
Vote for Carleen Leffler on August 18th.
And how do they do that?
They're mail-in ballots, and they can also go to the poll. There's going to be early voting, and also on August 18th at your regular polling site. It is open to any registered voter in St. Johns County, Flagler County, Putnam County, or Volusia County. All 4 counties, all registered voters can vote.
Carleen Leffler, judge.
Circuit judge.
Circuit judge.
Yep.
Carleen Leffler, circuit judge.
Yes.
Get out there and vote August 18th. Well, I wish you all the best.
I really
Thank you for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
If you'd like to be on the Beachwalk and Beyond podcast, you could reach us at info@beachwalkandbeyond.com. We'd love to learn about your story, where you come from, who you are, anything unique, maybe a business on CR 210, maybe a resident, maybe something different. Whatever it happens to be, drop us an email and let's have a conversation about it. We'd love to have you on the Beachwalk and Beyond podcast. Have a great day, everybody.